This is Adam Brooks. I'm at the Bell Hotel again in Epping, and we are currently behind metal barriers. We're like animals in a zoo at the moment. If you want to protest against the hotel, you have to be in designated areas, and they've even metal fenced the fields behind the camera for any overflow. If their hundreds do turn up, you have to go into a field. This police operation is very well organised and a very heavy police presence. We're hearing police dogs. There are riot vans everywhere. At the moment there are far more police and far more press than there are protested. I don't think the rain is helping, but at the moment it looks like the police operation has done their job to try and stop big crowds coming tonight. Let's see. So the crowds are building now here, but again the weather is pretty bad. It's still raining, but look what they've done here. They have fenced off areas of the common behind. Heavy police presence. I'm told that if there is any so-called anti-racism, anti-fascists that turn up, they are then going to be put in the field over there. There are police literally everywhere. As you see, there are protesters now gathering on the road, but look, the Bell Common behind is heavily policed, and there are police all the way up towards the high road. It's pretty astonishing scenes in Epping right now. Again, I'm speaking to local people, local families, and they say they are here every week. They are not going away until this is closed down. How is this going to play out?
Epping has found itself at the center of public attention after local businessman and commentator Adam Brooks described an extraordinary security clampdown at the Bell pub door. In a social media post that quickly went viral, Brooks painted a stark picture of heavy policing and restrictive fencing, saying he had never seen anything like it. The nature of the police presence has sparked widespread speculation, with some locals expressing confusion and frustration over what appeared to be a near-militarized response in the quiet Essex town. While authorities have not provided full details, initial reports suggest the measures may be connected to ongoing tensions over migration-related protests, as Epping has become a flashpoint in recent weeks due to housing and asylum issues. Residents say the scene resembles something far beyond a routine security deployment. "It's surreal, like something out of a movie," said one local shop owner. "You can't even walk across certain parts of the area without being stopped. It doesn't feel like Epping anymore." The heightened police operation comes as immigration and housing continue to dominate national headlines, particularly in Essex. Rumors of migrant placements and local dissatisfaction with government policies have made Epping a lightning rod for protests, counter-protests, and online campaigns. Some critics argue that such heavy policing is a disproportionate response to public dissent. "This level of security sends a terrible message," said one local councillor who asked not to be named. "Instead of listening to residents, it feels like the authorities are trying to cage them in." The Metropolitan Police and Essex Police have so far declined to confirm the exact purpose of the fencing and the scope of the operation. In a brief statement, a spokesperson said, "We are aware of public concern and can assure the community that the measures are in place to maintain safety and public order." Brooks' post, now circulating widely, has ignited debate over whether such visible, restrictive measures represent a growing disconnect between authorities and the public. With the political climate in Britain increasingly polarized over migration, identity, and free speech, the events at the Bell could signal a troubling new chapter.
Part of this is not really news. The concept that Donald Trump would be in an investigation about Jeffrey Epstein when they were both residents in Palm Beach, Florida, and the Upper West Side. They were both men of means and moved in similar circles. They were known to be friends, at least into the 90s. They had extensive Rolodexes separately in terms of who they talked with. That's not really shocking. What this is, from a political point of view, is right now the defining mistake of the Trump administration. They have unleashed a story that they cannot put back in the box. And it all started so many weeks ago when Pam Bondi, the attorney general, put out an unsigned one-page memo saying that there was no Epstein client list and proof that Epstein killed himself in prison, two enduring goals of openness that Trump's base had really wanted. And this is just yet another drip, drip, drip of that same story.
But do people really care that much about this? Because I'm wondering, I think a lot of the American people will be more concerned about the economy, the fact that he's brought down mass migration across the Mexican border, the fact that his tariffs have given them a 20% surplus. This, and especially as you pointed out earlier, well, it's no surprise that he actually knew Epstein because they were friends or they'd spoken well before all of this, became a thing.
You know, the Trump administration and the Republican Party certainly hopes that everything that you just listed, or the trade deal that they just made with Japan, or any number of stories will be what people talk about next November when there are midterms. But right now, in July, there's not a lot going on. They passed their one big beautiful bill. That was the meat of what his promises were on the campaign trail. They got that done. If anything, it's one of the things that's kind of confusing about this, that the Trump administration itself decided that they were going to open up this Pandora's box a few weeks ago with so little that was out there to talk about, because this is obviously something that people have tremendous interest in, including his own party, which the House of Representatives has continued to push on this.
So, okay, so we hear that he may well be named on these files. There'll be loads of other people named on the files as well. Do we have any of the other names that are on there as well? Because I suspect that there'll be lots of people there who really don't want that to get out.
Well, again, that's part of the reason why this story is sort of an exercise in media literacy. Let's remember, the Epstein story has been around since the early 2000s. 2008 was when he was convicted, and there was a lot of reporting by the Miami Herald that got him to that position, that was reporting about his reputation in Palm Beach, Florida. Then it kind of goes dormant for another 8 years, and Me Too comes around. There's a gigantic reexamination about powerful men and their relationship to women, and Epstein becomes a huge part of that, especially because it can ensnare some of those other names. So when you ask, what are those other names? Well, you could start with some of the people that we know Epstein had connections with, people in science like Stephen Hawking, people in politics like Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. But it's become such a radioactive topic that even the mention of anybody's name in connection, including Prince Andrew famously, with Jeffrey Epstein, is something that is toxic, that immediately conjures up the worst elements of privilege, power, and obviously the sex crimes that are involved with these women. So I don't know. The Wall Street Journal reporting on it is that Donald Trump's name is in the investigation. It is one of hundreds of names, and that there are unverified reports, as you would imagine, in a investigation that has produced whatever it was going to produce in terms of prosecution toward Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein.